And so first up, we've got Iceland. And I also served my mission on Iceland, so I'll share some fun things about Iceland after this. Okay.
Iceland is known as the land of fire and ice, and its unique landscape makes it obvious as to why.
Currently in Iceland, a volcano is erupting near the capital Reykjavik. It is not a threat to anyone in the area, but many people are going to the location to check it out.
11% of Iceland is covered in glaciers. It has the largest glacier in Europe, Vatnajökull, which is 3 times as big as Rhode Island. There are 269 named glaciers in Iceland, and many of the glaciers can be hiked and have ice caves to explore.
Around the summer solstice, the sun does not set and can be seen all 24 hours. However, by winter solstice, the sun is only visible for barely 4 hours per day.
Thank you. So yes, great. Thank you for those fun facts. The volcano is erupting out there. My favorite is that some of the senior couples I know serving on Iceland, they post pictures going to the volcano and roasting marshmallows there. So probably not the safest thing to be doing, but lots of people are going out there to check it out, which has been fun to watch. Okay, so we will go ahead and listen to our Icelandic song. It is a hymn in the Icelandic hymn book called O Jesus bróðir Besti. So here is O Jesus bróðir Besti.
O Jesus bróðir Besti, og barna vinur mesti, I pray the blessed þína, á barnæskuna mína. Með gott barn ég að vera, og góðan ávöxt bera, en forðast allt til illa, svo ei mér nær að smilla. Það hættist ég mín iðja, að elska þig og biðja, þín lífsins góða glæra, og lofþjóð að færa. Þín umsjón með lífi, í öllum mínu lífi, þín líknar hönd mig gleði, og lífsins veginn greiði.
Great. Whoa. I gotta, there. Okay, still, you'd think after a year of doing Zoom things, I'm still getting used to it. Okay, next up, we have got our Swedish presentation along with our Swedish song. Also, I think if you need any volume changes, hopefully you can turn it up on your end and hear everything okay. But here is our group presenting on Sweden, and then we will take a listen to our Swedish song.
Tjena, or hello. We are representing Sweden, and my name is Luke, And I'll just start us off with some stories about the food in Sweden. So let me just share my screen. Is that showing up? No? Let's try again. There we go. Is that good? Cool. Okay, so this is the standard Swedish meal. It's just meatballs with mashed potatoes. Sometimes it's boiled potatoes instead. And then you have this lingonberry jam. It's kind of like cranberry, but it's a little bit more sour. And then there's a brown gravy that they put on top. And it's just kind of the stereotypical Swedish meal. You can get that at IKEA. They also put some relish with it sometimes, or some pickles like this. So that's Swedish food, but because there are so many immigrants with their open border policy, there is a lot of Middle Eastern influence as well in the food. So you got kebab pizza, which I will show you. So they just take the Middle Eastern meat and they put it up on the pizza, and then they put French fries on top, and then they put this like garlicky, creamy sauce on top, and it just knocks your socks off. So highly recommend, if you have not made the journey to Scandinavia or Sweden, check out some kebab pizza.
Nice. So I'll go second. I'm Jake. Me and Luke were actually companions on the mission. So that's kind of cool. But I just want to talk about some experiences I had on the mission. Let me go ahead and share my screen as well. Seeing that?
Yep.
All right. First experience on this area, me and my trainer, we were way up north in the middle of the winter. And so we would go climb up the fire escape to the roof of our apartment building. We'd sit on the roof and we'd look at the northern lights. And they were spectacular. They were incredible. So that was pretty fun. Another experience that I had was for Christmas. We actually ate reindeer for Christmas, which was kind of messed up. But we also saw reindeer all the time because there's a lot of reindeer up north, and reindeer farmers. So kind of a special experience. And then the last story that I'll tell is Luke and I, while we were companions in Stockholm, we had a baptism after which Luke jumped into the font in his full suit. Iconic among the youth of Stockholm still to this day. So if you haven't been able to see the Northern Lights or some reindeer, you should definitely make the trek to the northern Sweden.
Disclaimer, it was a dare and I caved under peer pressure.
Love it. So my name is Ireland. I did not serve my mission in Sweden, but I do have some close connections there. I actually grew up in the early years of my life in Scandinavia, so I'm pretty familiar with the culture, as well as marrying a Swedish missionary, and then my brother also served in Sweden. So but growing up in Scandinavia, I was able to learn about the culture and traditions that they have there. And my family actually still continues a lot of those cultural traditions to this day. But we make Swedish pancakes every Christmas. So looking like this, very delicious. Love those. And then also, I guess we only really carry the traditions during Christmas time, but let me see. Every year so in Scandinavia, they hold hands and sing and dance around a Christmas tree. So that is also what we do. And then we light like some Swedish looking candles while we do that. And yeah, it's kind of fun to keep up those traditions, and it's fun that I've married a member of the Scandinavian culture as well. So yeah, much appreciation for Scandinavia.
It's the one that he was in a car just moments earlier. buying drugs
Nice.
from, apparently.
And yeah, my name's Blake. Just to wrap things up, I served in Sweden with Luke and Jake, and it was great. I actually saw them both quite a bit. I saw Luke a lot. I saw Jake a little bit. But yeah, so I'll just tell a little bit about the church in Sweden. There's about 10,000 members right now, and it's great. I mean, there are big wards, there are small branches. It's a little bit of everything. The Sweden Stockholm Temple is actually the first temple in Scandinavia, and it was it was dedicated in 1985. So we, for a long time, it was the Temple of Scandinavia, but thankfully we've got temples in Finland and Denmark and now Oslo, which is wonderful. The members there are great. Like all members, they need a little push to do the missionary work, but most of them are eager and willing to do so. But yeah, I just have a couple of things to share, like little items from my mission. So this first thing right here is a Swedish license plate. So I had a companion who really likes cars, and he had like 3 license plates, but he loved them. I was like, "Oh, dude, can I have one?" He's like, "Nah, dude, I love them, but if I find another one, I'll get you it." So he was on splits, and him and his companion were, oh, what the heck? Come on. My light goes off sometimes. He was riding down the street on his bike, and he saw one of them, and it was like super bent. So if you can like kind of see, it's like bent down the middle, but I've tried to like bend it back into shape. And he picked it up for me, put it in his backpack, and when he got home from splits, he had it, and I was super happy. It was cool. So I've been considering like putting it on the front of my car, but we'll see. Next thing here, this is called the Dollar Hest. It's probably the like national and international symbol of Sweden. Very popular in Sweden, and a lot of places really like it too. A lot of places in the world. They just kind of know this as like IKEA or like Swedish culture. It's very simple, it's beautiful, and yeah, they're usually red. Luke, do you want to show yours? They're usually red like that, and I got one of those for my mom, but when I was flying home in the Stockholm airport, right when we were leaving, I saw one of these, and I liked the natural wood, so I bought it. Yeah, it was cool. Another thing, Swedes and Scandinavians love Christmas. This little guy is a little Christmas gnome. So you see these things and stars everywhere in the winter time, which is cool. They love Christmas, and it's a lot easier to bring up like Christ during the Christmas times over there. But yeah, I love the mission. It was wonderful. Yeah, and that's about it for me.
So enjoy this next song. Vem kan segla förutan vind?
Great. And just like Luke said, next up is Vem kan segla förutan vind, which, correct me if I'm wrong, are Swedish speakers, but it means something like who can sail without the wind or something like that. It says who can go on without their friends. It's that kind of stuff. So here is Vem kan segla.
Vem
So that is probably my favorite song that we got to do this semester. That's a great one. And again, these will all be up on the YouTube channel. We'll post the individual songs as well as the whole concert. We'll have all of that. And that intro, yes, thank you to Brandon, who was in the choir. He came one day and just said, "Hey, I play the mandolin. Do you think you could use that?" And I said, "Sure, we're recording everything." So the benefits of recording. He came in one day, I brought him into the studio with me, and he brought his mandolin, and we just for half an hour, he played a bunch of different things on the spot. Very talented mandolin player. So if anyone needs some mandolin, Brandon is the guy. But yeah, intro, great song. Next up, we have our Danish song. So here is our Danish presentation by Brandon, who did not serve in Denmark, but unfortunately we didn't have any Danish speakers in the choir this semester. So our pronunciation was decent. We did our best. But here is Brandon to give us some info on Denmark.
Hey, so I'm Brandon, and I'm just going to talk to you guys a little bit about the beautiful country of Denmark. It's an old country. It's a beautiful country, and it has a lot in common with the other countries of Scandinavia, but it has a lot of things that make it unique as well. So I'm just going to go ahead and share my screen here, and I have some fun facts. All right, so hit present. All right, so as you can see, Denmark, first thing you notice is that it's flat, it's wet. It's kind of like the Netherlands in that respect. It's not like Norway and Sweden where there's tons of mountains. The entire thing's pretty flat, but it's, as you can see, it's lovely. It's technically the 12th biggest country in the world if you count the entire kingdom, because Greenland is counted in there, and that kind of just amps it up there to the same level as, like, say, India or Canada, Russia, one of the bigger countries. So if you're counting just Denmark proper, it's pretty small, like pretty tiny. But if you count the entire kingdom, you can see the Faroe Islands and Denmark, or Greenland right there. It comes out to be pretty big. Now, that being said, Greenland is hardly inhabited, so the population is pretty small. Denmark has some fairy tales that we would all find familiar. They're written by a guy named Hans Christian Andersen. It includes The Little Mermaid, and this is a statue of the Little Mermaid in Copenhagen, which is the capital of Denmark. And you can kind of see her feet are somewhere in between human foot and fishtail, so she's kind of in between her transition between mermaid and human. You guys know the story, doubtless. Other stories by Hans Christian Andersen include Ugly Duckling and Frozen. Actually, I think it was called the Ice Queen, but the original story for Frozen was a fairy tale written by this guy. So I would say we have a lot of cultural links to Denmark. It's pretty great. So personally, I did not serve my mission in Denmark. I don't really speak Danish, but I love Denmark anyways. I served my mission in France, and I served in this part of France called Normandy. And Normandy is actually named after the Danes, the Northmen. You can see it in the name there, because some Vikings came down from Denmark back when the Vikings were coming down from Denmark to everywhere, and they convinced the King of France to give them this little chunk of France, this quite big chunk of France that we now call Normandy. And the first Duke of Normandy was Rollo, who was a Dane, and I served in the area where he was buried. So this is his tomb. That's well, I've been there. That's the tomb of Duke Rollo, and this is a statue of him. I took this picture of the statue, so yeah. So that's a nice link that I have with Denmark. I never been there, but I've been to the tomb of a guy that's been there. So yeah, the Danes have had their influence on the world, because we all know Normandy because of World War II, and it's named after Denmark. Who would have known it? So yeah, and these are just some pictures of rune stones, just like the old Danish alphabet. it's pretty worn down, but it's cool stuff anyway. It's just like ancient writing from like the Middle Ages. So hope you guys have fun with my fun facts and enjoy the Danish music.
All right. Thank you, Brandon. So our Danish song, I would try to say, is Solen så rød, which means the sun is very red. And it's a lullaby song. It's a very nice song. So let me pull that one up. So there is our Danish song. The challenge of Scandinavian choir is also that you not only have to learn all this music, but you also have to learn how to pronounce all these new languages. And there were quite a few members of the choir too that made me happy that had never served in any of Scandinavia. And so it was all totally new to them, like Brandon, who just presented on Denmark. A lot of them didn't speak any Scandinavian language. So it was usually spend one class period just learning how to read the music. Then the next class period, actually they're learning the music of it. So it's a little bit more work than just any average choir, but it's been great. So we have one more song tonight, our Norwegian one. And we have a little presentation on Norway. Pull that up.
Hi, everybody. We just have a quick 3 fun facts to share with you guys. So we can get off and start with the first one. So first of all, Norwegians love their chocolate and they love their mountains. And they often like to enjoy their chocolate on their mountains. And so that's what this little Lunch is. It's basically a Kit Kat 2.0. And if you ever see Norwegian on a hike, they will have this with them, and often an orange or something like that. But they love their chocolate and they love their mountains and they love doing it together.
Okay, and then we also have their national holiday. This is called 17th of May, or the 17th of May. It's their Constitution Day, or the day that they gained their independence from Denmark. It was in 1814. They rejected the terms of possession that they had and became their own independent country. So this is a huge deal for them. They celebrate by going and doing parades in the streets. They dress up in these traditional dress called bunad. They often have family connections, like in the top right picture, where they represent where they're from, and they have special designs depending on that. And often they're passed down from generation to generation and handmade, actually. But the day is just partying all day. They'll eat ice cream, sausages, be in the streets, and it's very sophisticated and kind of peaceful, but very robust celebrating as well.
Okay, lastly is salmon sushi. So normally when you think of sushi, you might think of Japan. Wow, okay, Japan. But actually, specifically putting salmon in the sushi came from Norway. It was about around the 70s or 80s, when Norway had a surplus of salmon, and they exported a lot of their fish to Japan, but they hadn't had a huge export with salmon. So someone came over and to the representatives of the Japan and their food, and they were like, "You should try putting salmon in your sushi." But the Japanese had never thought of trying salmon raw. That seemed wrong to them. But once they did, it was great, and then sales rose, and now it's a classic.
All right, so that now you know everything you need to know about Norway, at least for now, and thank you so much.
Indeed. I'm glad that's some fun facts. Good stuff to know about Norway. I never would have guessed that salmon in sushi came from Norway, but now I do. So our Norwegian song is called Norge mitt Norge, and it's a very patriotic song about Norway. It's pretty short, so I will pull that one up.
Norge mitt Norge som sover du tyst, i vinteren skyver dess hale, og ingen kan drømme så lett og så lyst, når elvene synker i dvale, og ingen kan stille så stille og glad, når meisternes fløytende stemme dør av, og skogene sover i dale, og skogene sover i dale.
So there is Norge mitt Norge. Thank you all for coming tonight. That wraps it up. It's only 4 songs, but it takes about an hour to record each student, and there were 11 of them. So it's about 11 hours of recording, and then we put it all together. So it's been a great semester. I love being with everyone. They sound great. Hopefully when the fall comes, we'll be back in person and we can have a live concert, but this has worked out for now. But thank you all for coming tonight and listening in on what we've been working on this semester. Again, it will all be up later this week on the BYU Scandinavian YouTube channel, which Maren put in the chat. She put a link to that in the chat. So be sure, keep your eyes on the YouTube channel, and it will all be up there later this week. That concludes our concert. Thank you all for coming tonight, and well done to the choir members. They were all very professional. I just said, hey, we're gonna record this, and they came into the studio with me, and 3 takes, they got it. So choir professionals, it was great.
That was beautiful. Thank you so much, Thomas. Thank you for all your work. That was a ton of work. And everybody, that was a beautiful, beautiful concert. Beautiful song, some of which I've never heard before. So that was great. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you. Very happy. It makes my job easy when everyone's a good singer in the choir. So there were 11 people in there, and when everyone is a good singer, it makes my job a lot easier. So thank you all for coming. I hope to see you all again in the choir. So great. Good luck finishing up finals. Have a good summer. We'll see y'all later.
Thank you.